I'm Laura Bonnell, and this is the Living with Cystic Fibrosis podcast coming to you from Detroit. Please subscribe and even rate and comment on our podcasts when it moves you. I learn something new with every podcast, and I'm always inspired by the people that are showcased here. We don't give medical advice. You need to connect with your doctor for that. I hope that this Living with Cystic Fibrosis podcast educates you and sparks some volunteering or advocacy. The CF community needs people like you. Thanks to our sponsors, Viatris and Vertex, for their support. I always tell this group of undergrad students that the world is safer because they are our future. Atef Choudhury and Naim Mashni are incredible people and students. They're both seniors at Lyman Briggs College, majoring in human biology. Their minor is in business, and they're on a pre-med track. Atef and Naim are the co-founders and co-presidents of Cure Found MSU. Atef's connection to CF is his nephew. He was born with the disease in 2017, and watching his nephew grow up with CF, seeing him do treatments, it inspired him to become a doctor. And his passion for making a difference in the CF world brought him to creating, with Naim, Cure Found MSU. And the Bonnell Foundation is very lucky because Cure Found MSU continues to raise funds for our nonprofit. You're also going to meet Bhumika Kale. She's at the University of Michigan, where she's a sophomore pursuing a major in public health while following the pre-medical track as well. And she is the co-president of the university's chapter of Cure Found. And she has a club dedicated to raising awareness and support for cystic fibrosis patients. And her co-founder is Roxana Taipurita. And I think that's how you pronounce your last name. I apologize, Roxanne, if I mispronounced your last name. But Bhumika's journey into the medical field began in high school, where she actively participated in various pre-med clubs and volunteered in the healthcare setting. And her hands-on experience, along with a year of working as a medical assistant, she says this solidified her desire to pursue a career in medicine. So we are so lucky that these two are on this medical trajectory. Everyone just heard the introduction. I do mention Naim Mashni. He is not on this podcast because he had some unexpected travel, and we love him. We're bummed he's not on this podcast, but I did want to mention him because he is your co-founder, one of your best friends, Atef, and I really wanted to just make sure he was included in our conversation. So welcome, Atef Choudhury and Bhumika Kale. Thank you both so much for coming on this podcast and talking about Cure Found MSU and Cure Found U of M.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Atef, let's start by you explaining in more detail than I did in the introduction about Cure Found MSU and why it's so important.
Yeah, of course. So Cure Found MSU started back in January of 2022 when I was just a freshman in college. I'm now going into my senior year of college this upcoming fall semester, which is super exciting. Cure Found started at Michigan State University, and the main mission was to raise cystic fibrosis awareness and offer top-tier medical opportunities that no other organization can offer to pre-medical students hoping to go into the medical field, and also pre-health students who are interested in healthcare of some sort, whether it's becoming a PA, a nurse practitioner, or anything else in the medical field. So we started with Cure Found, with Dr. Ryan Thomas serving as the faculty advisor for our organization. He is the head pulmonologist at MSU Cystic Fibrosis Center and plays a huge role with our organization. We have so many events that feature him. He comes in and does guest talks about what cystic fibrosis looks like in a scientific setting, a clinical setting, what CF patients go through. He lets students come in and shadow at the MSU CF Center with him and his team, which consists of dietitians, respiratory therapists, and so many other people who are involved with treating cystic fibrosis and caring for those who suffer with cystic fibrosis. And we were so fortunate enough for him to introduce us to the Bonnell Foundation and it is through Dr. Thomas where we were able to learn more about Laura Bonnell, who we're speaking with right now, and her organization, which we were able to fundraise for many years. And we hope to continue fundraising for the Bonnell Foundation.
And thank you so much. And a huge shout out to Dr. Ryan Thomas, because he introduced me to you. And I usually say this to you every time I talk to you, but you are definitely a bright light. You are the future. I'm so excited that you're in the medical field, because I think we're very lucky with the direction of where you're going and the impact that you're going to have on this world. So thank you. And thanks to Dr. Ryan Thomas, because he's great. He's proactive. He's on top of everything. He's a go-getter. He hears me. I hear him. We've had some great ideas together as well. So he is just doing a great job also, I think, inspiring students. Has Cure Found MSU, Atef, has it gone in the direction that you had hoped, or is it even more than you expected?
I honestly think it is more than I expected. When we first started, me, Naim, and we also have a third co-founder who graduated and is preparing to start medical school soon, Alexis. She's Naim's sister. When we first started, we had our first event, or our first exposure at a spring anticipation event, which is basically where clubs introduce themselves to students, specifically freshmen who are just coming to the university for the first time. And I remember us having a conversation. We hope that we get members. We were getting members coming to the table and signing up for the club, but we were all really hoping that at our first event, members would show up. We were worried about the fact that if we were even going to get a single member, besides the board members that we already had. And we were hopefully we get about 20 members for the first meeting and we'll be happy with that. Now we have over 100 members who actively participate with our organization. They partake in fundraising events. They partake in our hands-on events that we offer to expose students to what cystic fibrosis looks like. We've had so many volunteer initiatives where we donated capes and cards, gift baskets, and so many other things to MSU Cystic Fibrosis Center. And we've attended the CF Celebration of Hope Conference with the Bonnell Foundation in both Lansing in 2022 and in Grand Rapids in 2023. So I feel like we've done so many different things where we have such a huge population of members who are actively participating. Recently, actually, I was going through the Google form to see the signups. We usually have people sign up to our Google form, which is found on our website at curefoundmsu.org. And it was really meaningful to me, and it made my day to see that someone commented saying that they actually have a best friend with cystic fibrosis that they've known since high school. And they are so excited to join MSU. They're an incoming freshman and they're so excited to get started at MSU and join Cure Found and give back to the cystic fibrosis community. So honestly, to answer your question, I know I went on a tangent. Yes, it's definitely exceeded my expectations.
That is wonderful. And Bhumika, we're going to get to you in 1 second, but I wanted to talk about, Atef, why you decided to expand and then how you connected with Bhumika. So what happened that made you decide to go to U of M?
Yeah, so University of Michigan is obviously one of the other well-known universities in Michigan. Go green always. I'll always be a Spartan. But I feel like it's super important. University of Michigan has such a great reputation when it comes to their cystic fibrosis center. I've actually shadowed with Dr. Nasser at U of M CF Center back in July of 2023. And I feel like taking Cure Found and expanding to the University of Michigan gives students and pre-medical students a great opportunity to learn more about cystic fibrosis and give back to the CF community. I feel like obviously the job is not done at MSU. We hope to continue our legacy at MSU, continue with our events, our volunteer initiatives, our collaboration with MSU CF Center and the Bonnell Foundation. But we hope that the University of Michigan can also create a collaboration with their CF Center and hopefully the Bonnell Foundation, where we can fundraise and advocate for cystic fibrosis patients. Bhumika is actually someone I've known since high school. We attended the same high school at the International Academy in Troy together. Her sister, Ritika, serves on our executive board as the publicity officer. And when I found out that Bhumika was going to the University of Michigan as a pre-medical student, and wanted to give back to her community in a certain way, I brought the idea to her. She was always active in volunteer initiatives at the International Academy in high school, and I felt like she would do a great job with bringing the Cure Found mission to the University of Michigan, which is why I reached out to her, and I knew she would know great-minded peers like herself to get on board and start Cure Found at University of Michigan. So that's how it all started back in, I want to say, about April of this year.
That's wonderful. So, Bhumika, how has the journey been so far? I know it's so fresh, but how do you feel about this chapter that you're now bringing to the University of Michigan?
I was definitely a little nervous at first because Atef and his e-board members have created such a big club and they've done so many great things. So it's a lot to live up to. But we just finalized our executive board and there was an overwhelming amount of support and interest when we first sent out the form. And I realized there were so many people who wanted to be more active and volunteering and fundraising and do those things for our community. And as Atef was talking about, when he first introduced the idea to me, I realized there's over 1,600 different clubs at UMich, but none of them are involved with cystic fibrosis awareness. And I thought that was something that's so new and needed at our school community. So I was really excited to be able to bring that to our campus.
That's wonderful. And so Atef's connection is his nephew who has CF.
Yeah.
What kind of connection do you have, or was it just his connection and him, which is fine?
It was his connection. And as he mentioned, my sister, who's also on the e-board, I've been watching both of them. They're both 2 years older than me. So they've always been big role models in my life. And even starting in high school, I would see the clubs that they did and they were so passionate about it and all the work that they would put in. And I just knew if they were starting this at MSU that Atef would put his all into it and it's something that's really meaningful to him and it would be successful and meaningful. So that really drew me towards it.
And I know you're just getting started, but what are your plans right now for Cure Found U of M?
So first, we actually just submitted our application and are in the process of getting it approved. So we haven't been able to plan any big events so far, but Atef connected me with a pulmonologist, Dr. Huang at Michigan Med. So we're potentially working with her to come to our meetings and present just for an introduction to get the awareness about what cystic fibrosis even is for the new members of the club. And we're just working on getting all our new members and kind of establishing ourselves at the university.
And Dr. Yvonne Huang is fantastic. You're in great hands, just like MSU is with Dr. Ryan Thomas.
Laura actually connected me to Dr. Huang, and that's how we were able to get a faculty advisor for the University of Michigan. So big shout out to the Bonnell Foundation and you, Laura. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. But that is the beauty of this CF community, is that we're all connecting each other, right? And if you don't know somebody, I know somebody, and vice versa. I mean, we have benefited from Cure Found MSU, and you've benefited from the Bonnell Foundation, but I think that we're such a good team. It's wonderful. And again, Dr. Ryan Thomas and Dr. Yvonne Huang, it's such a good community. So it is definitely a team effort. We do have a great group of people. Atef, what would you like to see the University of Michigan's Cure Found do? I know it's in great hands, but kind of what are your thoughts as they grow?
Yeah, we hope they kind of follow the mission that we followed at MSU to offer top-tier medical opportunities for pre-health students, along with raising awareness for cystic fibrosis. We kind of have this blend of offering these opportunities for members while raising cystic fibrosis awareness. So members are benefiting and the CF community is benefiting hand in hand, along with offering the volunteer initiatives that we have at MSU CF Center and fundraising for the Bonnell Foundation and just raising awareness for the cystic fibrosis community. We offer different hands-on activities where students are able to learn and grow their medical knowledge. We've had suture clinics, pulmonary function clinics where respiratory therapists and dietitians from MSU CF Center have come in and shared their expertise with students. We hope to see these events where students are able to benefit and learn and also want to contribute to volunteerism and just helping out their community at the University of Michigan and also helping the CF community. We really hope to see that connection with the University of Michigan Cystic Fibrosis Center because we feel that that's a very important connection to have. And that's how students are going to be able to get that shadowing opportunity, whether it's through Dr. Yvonne Huang or other pulmonologists that she can connect students with, along with creating maybe gift baskets or something where CF patients and kids can see that Cure Found U of M is really trying to help the community and make a difference in the cystic fibrosis world.
And Bhumika, sort of putting you on the spot, but don't feel any pressure. But what have you learned about cystic fibrosis since taking this on? Is there anything where you thought, wow, I had no idea about this, or something that you find really interesting?
Something that really stuck out to me is that the patients were like, when they're sick, that they can't come in contact with other cystic fibrosis patients. And that is just, that honestly blew my mind because that human connection and like, it's just such a big part of life, like being able to be around your loved ones. And if even one of your loved ones had cystic fibrosis, that would put such a big barrier in between them. And also something that I thought was really cool that I saw on your website was all the fundraising that you're doing and offering scholarships to different cystic fibrosis patients, which I thought was very, very cool. And I really respected that.
Her scholarships are really cool. She actually offered, I think it was financial assistance for one of the treatments for my nephew. I think the treatment costs about $1,000 roughly, and she gave them a $500 scholarship towards that treatment. So the Bonnell Foundation just fundraising and giving back to the community even shows through my nephew. And I actually didn't even introduce them to the Bonnell Foundation. They came and told me and was like, I know you're involved with the Bonnell Foundation. They donated to give treatment for my nephew. And I was like, that is incredible. I texted her right away. I was like, oh my God. And it was just such a full circle moment for me.
Yeah, we did not even know. Obviously, our financial assistance committee does all of that. So when we figured out all that had happened, it was very, very cool that it was very full circle, right? And I can't wait to meet your nephew and your aunt, right?
Yeah.
Someday. And your parents, because you're terrific. You know that, how I feel about you. I just think you're doing great things. Is there going to be any sort of U of M MSU rivalry between, like some good rivalry between both Cure Found organizations?
Yes.
To try and drum up like enthusiasm?
Yeah. So I think what I've seen in the past with other organizations where they have two chapters at MSU, like one at MSU and one at U of M, usually during the MSU U of M football game, there's some sort of tailgate situation where there's like fun. Obviously, it's all sorts of fun, right? It's tailgating in football season, but it's also the whole point of fundraising for that cause. So we hope to have some sort of, I forget, I need to look at the football schedule, but whether the game is at MSU or U of M, we hope to have some sort of, at least where board members can collaborate and we can have a fun tailgate, but also raise funds, and whichever chapter is able to raise more funds for the cystic fibrosis community, that'll be like the winner, if that makes sense. Obviously, it's still in the works, and I'm just saying this off the top of my head, and we still have to plan everything out. We hope to have something like that, and maybe we could have it where those funds go to the Bonnell Foundation.
Yay, I say yes to that. That sounds great. I would wear half green and half maize, do whatever.
We're all green and white.
Hopefully there's going to be more collaboration than rivalry.
Oh, of course. Yeah, but it's all good fun, right? It's all good. And Bhumika, tell us some more of what you're hoping to do and about the students maybe who you have already started to engage at U of M.
So students that we selected, me and my co-president, Roxanne, I don't know if we mentioned her yet, we're both pre-medical students. We're on that track. And we kind of curated our e-board to people who we know have an interest in pre-health and people that we know are really passionate and hardworking and are really dedicated to the cause. And then from there, we're just hoping to expand from like other connections that the e-board members have. That we had a form that people already submitted a bunch of ideas for fundraising. And yeah, that's what we have so far.
It's very exciting. I mean, do you feel the energy, and are you pretty hopeful about going into this fall with this new program?
Yeah, I think the beginning of the year, especially like festival, for example, everybody, all the incoming freshmen, all the upperclassmen, everyone's looking to join new clubs. And obviously, I think being involved with the community is such a big thing. So hopefully the interest will skyrocket once festival comes around, and we'll just get all our new members and kick off the year.
And, it's a lot because you're all so busy with classes. You're a sophomore, correct? And so how do you handle starting a new program and then all your classes and everything else that you're involved in?
I think that's why I was really grateful that we had this off time during the summer to build our e-board and start talking about ideas and planning for the school year. And our foundation is really solid there. So hopefully it's going to be an easier transition. But we do have quite a large e-board. I think it's 10 or 11 of us. So hopefully we'll be able to divide up the work and everyone contributes. So it's not too much pressure on a couple people and taking up a couple people's time, and everyone can contribute equally.
And I know you're still in the filing process and everything, but what sorts of things are you hoping happen throughout the year?
Like Atef talked about, the pre-med opportunities. That's definitely a big attraction, and a lot of people want to experience that, like the suture clinics. And definitely I want to connect more with Dr. Huang if we can do shadowing opportunities with her, and then various fundraising. There's always activities going on in campus. So I think that's a great way. We have the Diag and a lot of people hang out there. And I think those are really great spots to advertise and spread awareness. So
I am also going to put it out there and connect you with some doctors are coming over from Egypt. I don't know if you were aware of that yet, but they are going to shadow the Cystic Fibrosis clinic at U of M.
Yes.
That will be a great opportunity for you to get the perspective of CF care in Egypt.
Okay. The Cystic Fibrosis in Michigan Med is definitely on our list to be able to connect with.
That is wonderful. And Atef, is this it? And I don't mean it because it's a lot, but Cure Found MSU, Cure Found U of M, are you going to do Cure Found Western Michigan, Cure Found, Central? Do you have other plans?
Yeah, we really hope that Cure Found continues to expand with other organizations that are well established. Like, for example, this other organization that I'm part of, it's called Brain Exercise Initiative. It started, I forget in what university, but they have chapters all across the country. They even have a chapter, I believe, in Spain. So I feel like if we continue to expand and Cure Found becomes a bigger organization, students at other universities interested to start a chapter of Cure Found can fill out an application and do that filing process at their university, however that works, and start a Cure Found chapter there. We hope to create a handbook for students who are interested at other universities on how to get started with starting Cure Found, what our mission is, what roles executive board members should play in the organization, and just ideas and templates of events and fundraisers that they can host. We really hope that Cure Found continues to grow. Of course, we want Cure Found MSU as the first organization, its founding location, I guess. We want that to continue to expand, continue to grow. I'm graduating, Naim's graduating. We have a plan to hand over our organization to other executive board members who are currently sophomores or going into their sophomore year. And they are so excited to continue the Cure Found legacy. Me and Naim are part of the Osteopathic Medical Scholars Program. So currently we are applying and interviewing soon actually to MSU's College of Osteopathic Medicine. And hopefully when we start at MSU Com, we hope to start a Cure Found MSU Com chapter that's more tailored towards medical school students who are actually in medical school and getting all of that medical knowledge. So we hope to continue spreading cystic fibrosis awareness and offering top-tier medical opportunities geared towards learning about CF and pulmonary medicine all the way up until we finish medical school and even when we go into residency, maybe.
That is wonderful. And you're still going to kind of guide these two groups even after you're in your medical school teachings after you leave undergrad?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're going to be super closely, especially with the MSU chapter, right? We're going to be super closely connected with the students next year who are continuing Cure Found, and we'll always be able to give them guidance and ideas for events, come and talk about what we did with Cure Found MSU, and of course have different collaboration events, whether it's with the University of Michigan, a different chapter, the Bonnell Foundation, and just other great organizations in the area. So we definitely hope to continue. And once we get into medical school and start that chapter at MSU Com, we hope to have a undergraduate and medical school collaboration where there could be like mentors and mentees from the undergraduate level and the medical school level, where students are able to engage with medical school students and physicians at that level and hopefully are in their shoes in the near future.
And Bhumika, I would think that this is kind of opening your community as you are meeting more people that are working on this goal. Do you feel like you're getting to know more people and that you are really outlining this kind of CF community?
Yes. Especially even just Atef and Naim, they're coming to one of our board meetings next week and kind of connecting with our e-board and guiding us even more. So through them, and then once the year gets started and we got all these in-person opportunities and hopefully go into the hospital and shadow, I'm really excited for the year to start that way.
And I know you're still in the beginning stages, but I just see it like what I've seen with Atef, like you're learning and growing. I mean, he's way ahead of where some graduates are, right? Like You've started this organization, you're growing it while you're working on your education. Do you see how huge of an opportunity and room for growth and what you can already say that you've started this, Cure Found U of M?
I know. Even like just doing this podcast, something I've never done before, it's out of my comfort zone, and like connecting with all these people, I'm having to work on myself, like my speaking skills and like how I connect with people. And I'm getting so many new like opportunities and experiences. And I feel like it's very helpful to me, like especially in my intended career, to be able to work with all these medical professionals, being so young.
I think it's wonderful. And I think you're doing a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
No one would know that this was your first podcast. I also wonder, are you going to try and have some speakers bureau kind of things as well? Because I did love that with Cure Found MSU.
I would love to have the opportunity to bring speakers, and I feel like students are always looking for a mentor or someone to give them guidance, especially in undergrad, and kind of inspire them like in their future careers. And I think that's so needed, especially for students who are not sure like what they want to do moving forward or need like inspiration or anything. Speakers are so valuable.
And I wondered from both of you, Atef, why don't you start out? But how do you handle so much? I mean, it is a lot. And I'm seriously asking because not everybody can handle this much. sometimes even less than what you're handling is overwhelming to others. So when you're talking to your peers or people who hear this and have cystic fibrosis and they're going to college and maybe they can only handle so much because they're doing their treatments and everything, and you're fighting alongside them to help educate and build this community. But I also do wonder, you are doing a lot, and everybody has something, even if it's not cystic fibrosis that you're directly living with. You still have mental health and physical health, whatever that is. So how do you keep all this momentum for yourselves going?
Yeah, I feel like with Cure Found, it's just something I'm really passionate about. So when I'm working on Cure Found in the next event, it doesn't feel like I'm doing work per se. And the executive board, obviously we've selected them and they applied for the position. Some we've met through the organization, others we've known for, like I've known for my whole entire life or my whole entire college life. So it's like working with the executive board, working with people like you, Laura, it makes me happy and it makes me excited to do things and makes me excited for the next initiative for Cure Found. So when I'm working on Cure Found, it just feels like I'm doing something I'm really passionate about and it doesn't feel like work. It truly doesn't. And like Naim, for example, we've been best friends since college started. I met him freshman year of college in the dorms, and I brought him the idea of Cure Found when I realized that there was a lack of cystic fibrosis awareness and clubs raising CF awareness while also offering those opportunities to learn about CF care, pulmonary medicine, and medical hands-on opportunities. And we drafted this idea of Cure Found together and reached out to Dr. Ryan Thomas together. We did everything together and we would almost treat it as like a hangout. We'd go to the library, a coffee shop, each other's house, or like the dorms, our apartments, like, you know what I mean? So it just feels like we're hanging out and we're having a good time. We are making a meaningful contribution to the community, but we're also still hanging out and enjoying each other's company and enjoying the people around us, if that makes sense.
It does, and that is wonderful. And Bhumika, how about you?
Just building off the last thing that Atef said, I feel the exact same way. The co-president that's starting the chapter with me is also one of my best friends. We also met in our freshman year dorm. And she's just someone who's super like lively, and whenever, like even throughout the whole application process, which was pretty lengthy, we were just on FaceTime or whether we were meeting up, like drafting all our ideas and everything. And it was just, when somebody else is doing it with you and they're as excited about it as you are, it just makes it so much easier. And going back to how we're going to deal with it in the school year, I think college classes, like the workload is a lot at both MSU and Michigan. And it's so respectable that Atef has done all that he did, like during his peak junior year, sophomore year, when school was super important for them. So I've also had experience with clubs that I've done in my freshman year and like how to balance those. And going into my second year of college, I've learned what study techniques work for me and how I should be like managing my time, managing my work. And I think I'm a lot better equipped than if I were to have done it last year as an incoming freshman. I think a lot of it is just time management and like who you're spending your time with and making sure that everyone's being uplifting and like delegating the work.
Well, I think you're both rock stars, and I'm really excited about the expansion of the Cure Found program. Great job, both of you. And to either of you, to both of you, is there anything else that you wanted to mention before we wrap up the podcast?
Yeah, I just wanted to say to Bhumika that it's going to be such a great experience for you to see where Cure Found starts initially, with obviously just you and your executive board members probably stressing about the expansion. Are we going to get members to join and actually appreciate the organization? I was in the same boat back when we started the organization in January of 2022, and I was really worried if we were going to get members who are truly passionate about making a difference in the cystic fibrosis community. Mm-hmm. But now we have over 100 members actively participating, willing to come to events and learn about CF care, volunteer for the CF cause, and also, of course, benefit in so many ways by adding different certificates and experiences to their resume that they can talk about in interviews and medical school applications, and professional school applications. So I feel like this journey is going to be such a great opportunity for you to expand as a leader and truly learn more about who you are in the medical world and just as a person in general. You're giving back to your community and making a difference in the lives of others. And you're going to get that firsthand experience when you go and drop off those gift baskets, drop off that check to an organization and just help the community out in like a firsthand type of scenario. So I'm really excited to see how Cure Found is at the University of Michigan.
Thank you so much. And I'm like so overwhelmingly excited. And I realized that in the medical community, seeing firsthand, I work as a medical assistant currently, and seeing firsthand how grateful patients are, or not even that they're grateful, that you can see that you made a difference in their lives and like they feel better and they're just like their morale is boosted, and anything that you can do for them just makes such a big difference in people's lives. And I love that feeling, and I hope to continue that with all the cystic fibrosis work. So I'm super grateful that I was given this opportunity, and to you, Miss Bonnell, too, because you obviously were such a big part in getting Atef started and guiding him through the cystic fibrosis community. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone.
Well, thank you. And I think, we've all definitely helped each other. You guys are doing fabulous work. And something that the Bonnell Foundation does is we give out bags to hospitals that have coffee mugs and gift certificates for coffee and phone chargers and all the things that parents normally forget when they're taking their child to the hospital. And Cure Found MSU gave us little bags that one of their groups put together. You had all sorts of different things in there that we did include in those bags, and would certainly do it for Cure Found U of M too, and kind of introduce you in addition, as part of our bag. So I extend that to you as well. But yeah, you guys are just killing it, rocking it out there. So thank you from the entire CF community for all you're doing to help raise awareness and funds and everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I remember seeing one of those gift bags when I was visiting my nephew when he was hospitalized with pneumonia back this past December. So that was another full circle moment for me.
Right. That was great. When you told me that, I was like, yeah, that was definitely a full circle moment. I felt, we know the bags are getting out there. Sometimes people will send us a picture and say, hey, I got this. But when you said your nephew got one of our bags, that was so touching and wonderful. So yeah, there's all kinds of goodies in there. So we're glad to do it. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The original music in this podcast is performed by Kevin Allen,
It's not complicated.
who happens to have cystic fibrosis.
We all got our worries and fears. I know it's got you frustrated, but loving you is so alright.
This has been the Living with Cystic Fibrosis podcast. For more information and to learn more about the Bonnell Foundation, visit our website at thebonnellfoundation.org. That's the BONNELL Foundation.org. This podcast was sponsored by Vertex Pharmaceutical, The Science of Possibility, and Viatris. It was produced by Jag and Detroit Podcasts. Follow our show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening right now.